The differences between these two has been stark in recent times, really since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And we could put that for you in numbers to show the difference here. 4 titles for Manchester City to 0 for Manchester United. 11 major trophies to 3. 4 top finishes in that time for Manchester United. 15 points difference in the average points. That gap right now is 19. And you can see City have had that continuity of managers as well, where Manchester United in recent times have chopped and changed. How far apart do you think they are right now, Jamie?
Miles apart. And I think you could talk about how much money they spent. I think you said off air 302?
1.2 billion each.
1.2 billion each. So if you look at that, the players, there's been some great players signed for United in that period. The difference has been the manager. I think when you have Pep Guardiola, the style that they play, you know what Man City are. You look at what Man United have done in that period. They've gone from Van Gaal, who plays a certain type of football, to likes of a Mourinho that plays a completely different style, and they've got lost. So it doesn't matter what players you bring in, it's never going to quite work. But City have got the right man at the top, and there is absolutely no doubt United's next move has to be to get the right manager. The profile of players is also, of course, it's important, but the manager's the one that leads from the front. That's where the success comes from.
Is that the key to closing that gap, Roy?
Yeah, huge decision for United over the next few months. They've got to get it right. They've got to get the right manager to come into the club. They've chopped and changed. Recruitment obviously hasn't been good enough. There's been problems all over the club, maybe at board level. There's been changes again, a new chief executive coming in. But the next managers, they've got to get that right. It's a huge decision in Man United's history. If they don't get this right again, they are we know they're so far behind, obviously, Liverpool anyway, and obviously Man City and Chelsea. They have to get it right. Who that man is, I don't know, but they've got a huge decision.
You look at the recruitment as well. Manager's a massive thing, but the recruitment, obviously, that 1.2 billion that Manchester United has spent. And I was thinking last night watching Liverpool must have been frightened to death, fans 2 or 3 years ago, thinking, how do we replace Salah, Mane and Firmino? You've now got Jota and Diaz. All of a sudden, you're thinking, probably one of that 3 that I mentioned before could go, and you wouldn't even miss them, as much as a great job as they've done. But at continually good recruitment and that replenishing of the resources means that they're in a brilliant position now, Liverpool, to spring forward again. Pep Guardiola had the unenviable task of replacing Silva, Aguero, Kompany. Massive players that you thought they could never be replaced, and look what he's done. He's now got a team that's excelling and doing everything that it's doing. Manchester United are nowhere near. This morning, reports in the paper, Manchester United need a new training ground. City have done it. Manchester United need to redevelop the stadium. City have done it. Manchester United have just got a new CEO. City have got an established and stable, management team in place. Everything. It's not just on the pitch, not just the manager. Everything about the 2-3 clubs, Liverpool, City versus Manchester United in the last 10 years. They're miles in front in every single category. It's got to be sorted.
For all that, though, it's still a great job for somebody to come in, get a grip of this football club, get recruitment right. Obviously, you've got to manage upwards, sort that out. Whoever's calling the shots, we're talking about recruitment. We don't know who's bringing the players in. For a top manager to come into Man United, who are fighting to finish 4th, what a great opportunity to come in and rebuild the club. That's what it needs, and it's a great opportunity.
Do you think a manager can rebuild the club on his own, though, without the other stuff?
Well, you got to get that right. You got to obviously manage upwards. You got to get the right people.
It's planning though as well. Carl Doom come in when we had the investment, and he said we're going to win the league. He said we're going to win the cups. That from the youth all the way up, we're always going to try play the same. We're going to buy different teams in different countries and try win the league. So it's more than just a manager. It's more than just recruitment. You've got to have someone who's got the idea and the plan that goes further than just what happens on the pitch. What you see now with Man City, Gary's just mentioned it. The players that we cut. How many times have we had a conversation? Kompany, what we're going to do? We get Diaz. How many? David Silva.
Yeah, but Pep must be having a say in that, Mick. Pep has to be. But that's where you need that personality to lift everybody.
It started with Cheeky and Fran from Barcelona.
Of course.
They knew what was happening years ago. We said, we'll get them in place. We'll bring them to Man City. We'll get people like, Mancini was here first. Pellegrini was never really their man. Did a good job, won the league. And they waited for Guardiola. It was the timing was key for everything, not rushing like Man United have done.
But when Pep came in, Mick, as soon as you saw Pep come in, you went, as the City made great progress and were winning stuff, we went, this is another level up. Liverpool with Klopp are the same. And of course, you need people in the background. That Man United, we don't know who's making the decisions. Dan Fletcher's involved.
John Murtagh.
John Murtagh's involved. They've all come on board. Yeah, of course. So
how long is it going to take then, Roy? Even if they got the
I
manager
think if
right.
they get the right manager who comes in the summer, you think a big personality who will lift people, and people talk about someone on the training pitch, of course, but I think a manager, people who manage the football club. So when they walk in a room, people go, "Oh, we're talking about a big personality, a Klopp, a Pep, who's out there." If they come in, I still think Man United, probably 2 or 3 years. For all the doom and gloom around Man United, I think if you get the right person in, I think they can get a sort. That's what the great managers do. But it might take 2 or 3 years.
My doubts on what Roy's just said, though, are that I think Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho are huge personalities. They're massive characters, but they still couldn't compete with City and with Liverpool in that period.
But there was something amiss, Gary, when they came in. What that was the people above them. I think a manager's got to come in and even sort all that out.
But it's difficult. I mean, look at Pochettino and Ten Hag, who are the two that keep getting mentioned. Pochettino, we don't even know if you can get from Paris Saint-Germain. They'll decide that. But have they got the personality to come into Manchester, to Manchester United, the scale of the club, the issues that exist there at this moment in time, and be able to have the personality, character, and the strategic planning and understanding of how to manage up and down, and not just manage up, but also be able to actually influence up. To influence up. To influence the recruitment, to take over the sort of planning of the training ground, the redevelopment of the stadium, all the stuff that you think a great manager would do. I'm not sure that Ten Hag or Pochettino have got that in them. I mean,
You have to earn that right, don't you?
I think so. You need the control and the security and the victories to get that level of power, I think.